Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host, Dylan Musso. We have with me a couple guests. We got the prideful Travis Snell with the bluest tongue I've ever seen, looking like Papa Smurf over here. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Good. You just saw Logan yesterday. She had a birthday party and she came back from it. Had this blue popsicle, teeth, lips, tongue, everything more blue than I am. But yes, happy Pride Month to everybody, and I'm doing well. We got a fun week ahead of us. This is like that we talked about last week, the GV 10 year. We don't have any 10-year stuff this week, but this just feels like the kickoff because we got a busy summer. But this feels like the kickoff.
Yeah.
Of, man, we got good movies, we got good video games. No TV shows, but good stuff just all around, and I can't wait. Summer Games Fest. I'm getting that E3 vibe, We're getting that late edition. People being, oh, I'm doing a conference, PlayStation, Nintendo. I'm waiting any day. I'm waiting for that notification, but I'm excited for this week and weekend. Switch 2?
Switch 2? Yeah, we have also the Summer of Taylor here. Taylor, how's it going?
It's going very good. Happy to be here. Switch 2 this week.
Yeah, what's the deal? Because you have your own pre-order, but you also have mine on your account. Like any updates? Because when I checked, it's like mine's like shipping out on the 9th. Like, what's going on here?
Last I checked,
it
it said canceled. I think last I checked.
Oh,
yeah, unless there's an additional $500 charge to uncancel it. So
right.
Let's see. I can get you a live update here. Let me see. What does it say? Your orders. It says arriving June 9th still. That's all it says.
Hate to see it. Well, yeah, tonight we're going to be talking all about, doing some predictions rather for Summer Game Fest, Xbox Showcase. There's like at least 10, 15 showcases this week. So if you guys have predictions for like anything,
we're going
anything's open, but those are the two big ones,
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about what we kind of expect or maybe what we want to see or just making the most raw dog predictions you want. You can do whatever you want here. Other than that, just one game we've been playing, all three of us together, and then a little news about the Black Panther game, which has unfortunately been canceled. So in terms of, as Travis mentioned, a lot's going on this week. So Summer Game Fest opening night live. I don't even know if it's called that, but I guess that's Gamescom, right? But anyway, Summer Game Fest, the first thing is happening Friday night. There's a live stream there along with a IOI interactive thing is happening that night, so we'll do an episode Friday night. So I guess Tuesday or Saturday morning rather. You can check your feeds
Tuesday,
there. I don't know. I'm used to the Sidequest stuff released on Tuesday. So check that out. We'll be doing something kind of that night for Summer Game Fest. We'll probably go live for that one too, so people can join us in the chat. And then Xbox is happening on Sunday, I believe. So we'll cover that on the usual Tuesday drop of Sidequest. And then as Taylor mentioned, Switch 2 is coming out this week. I might not get mine till next week. I don't know when you guys are getting yours, but we'll really just have to play by ear and see when we get these consoles in our hands and when we've had a little bit of time to take them out of the box and get some impressions, and then we'll do pretty much like an emergency side quest. Whenever we're able to do an episode on covering that console a little bit, we will do that. So just subscribe, because then you'll get that notification as soon as we release an episode talking about that bad boy. Do you guys have an update like from your thing? Like, I guess mine's June 9th now, but do you guys have anything from your wherever you pre-ordered it from? Do you have an update on when you're getting yours?
Right now, mine says the 5th. I don't believe it because I can't remember what it said back in the day, but last time I got my PS5, the latest console I bought was from Best Buy, is a couple days late. So I'm just assuming it's like that. And it's kind of fine if it is, because like I even think if I get it June 5th, I don't even think I'll be cracking it open. So same thing. I won't have too much. I'll definitely bust it open, do some UI and some playtime. But just because there's Ballerina, and then Friday, not only Summer Games Fest, like Predator's out. So there's a lot of stuff until like Saturday. We got some filming. So like, who knows? But as of right now, June 5th. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I got the call from EB Games, and they said I could go on the 4th at 9 p.m., but I can't because we're podcasting, so I can't go at 9 p.m. and get my
What would that be?
Switch Sunday.
Ballerina review is why you can't be there?
No, Ballerina's on the Thursday, but we're podcasting for Originals and 28 Weeks Later Retro. And the only other time, like, if we
I
were
think
to
you should
switch
go
those,
get that bad boy at 9 p.m. You can skip one of those, or we can move one of those.
I can't. It's because if we were to move one of those, the only available date is the next Friday, which I have to have that off because I have a date night with Madison. So it's a rock and a hard place.
Now cancel the date. and move the
Yeah, I can
podcast
understand.
and get your Switch. No, that's fair. I mean,
So
you know, that's fine. You can wait and play it with the rest of us when we get.
I'll be going the next day, like right before Ballerina review.
Nice.
So I'll be late to
Cool.
pick up Travis. I'm gonna go and get the Switch.
Wait a second.
Travis is
though.
taking
Why-
the Shoelace Express now. All of a sudden.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just pick me up and then we go get the Switch instead of being late and trying to screw me out of popcorn again?
I'm gonna pick you up.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get the Switch. I'm gonna park the car at the theater and leave the Switch in my car while we go into a
That's
movie.
super risky.
Hell no! Are you insane, man? God dang!
That's fair.
He doesn't have a good rebuttal for that one.
No, I can't rebut it all. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll talk off cast. We'll talk
Yeah,
off
yeah.
cast. Yeah.
Anyway, once again, just subscribe because that's when you'll find out as soon as we're dropping an episode talking about the Switch 2. The three of us are getting it. Kirkland is not, unless he finds one on the day of and is itching for one all of a sudden. But I doubt that is going to be the case. Before we get into some predictions, we'll start with a couple other topics. Over the weekend, we played some Battlefront II, which I think 2017 game, so nothing modern by any means, but kind of getting back in there. And didn't we do a stream of this game? Because I feel like I have played it at some point, but I don't think I've ever downloaded it myself.
We did the weekend of Star Wars Celebration. We did a little synergy. I think we had a lot of connection issues, but we
It was
did
rough.
do. Yeah,
Kyle
it
was there
rough.
too.
Kyle was there. Yeah, I remember because
Where was that recorded? Whose house were we at for?
That was mine.
Taylor's house, yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember when Kyle got there, I think it took like a 45-minute. Like he came there and was doing nothing. And I was like, oh, I felt really bad. But yeah, we did a long time ago stream this.
Didn't we
Yeah.
watch Game of Thrones after that?
I don't think
If you
so.
did, then
Dylan
I feel like I
there.
was not there on this night. 'cause
Yeah,
I don't
no, I don't
remember
think
Game
so.
of Thrones happening.
Might have just been the same vicinity time, but
Yeah. So anyway, but the first time I've really just kind of played for a few matches in a row, kind of thing, and I think I was surprised at how much I really loved it. I mean, it makes sense. It kind of has that same like Lord of the Rings Conquest sort of format, I guess, or Battle for. I always forget the names of these different Lord of the Rings games, but has that same sort of.
Conquest.
Yeah, Conquest is the one there where you're kind of playing as the grunts and then you build up points and you can play as the hero characters, which is always very exciting. I'm not great at this game, so I could never get enough points to play as like the big head honchos, like Taylor's running around the stage as Yoda. I've never got to that point, but I definitely was ripping up some Ewok play, and I feel like that's where my calling was, and I was disappointed that I couldn't always play as the Ewok, but I guess it makes sense. They, base it on the maps and whatnot. But I really liked the Ewok, even though, high skill cap, trying to shoot people with a bow and arrow when people have laser blasters. Not easy, but I like his moveset and the goofiness of it, so that was really fun.
yeah, I have not played this game in a long time. I don't remember why I didn't, because I still remember back then, like the only thing, and I don't know why I bought it. I remember I wasn't going to buy it, but then I eventually just took the plunge, saw enough stuff that looked, I guess, hype at the time. And I still had a really fun time back then with it. So I don't know why me and Taylor ever stopped playing it. I guess it's just kind of thing where you play a game enough and it goes away. And obviously the server's not dead, but we're probably a lot more quiet. So maybe it was harder to get back into a match. But right now it's like a trending game and it like broke its Steam player count. So yeah, it was tons of fun to get back in there. I don't think we've ever done like a 3-man team, so that was good. And I like that because it's, one, it was great to play a game together and get a win. It's been a while since that happens. But
we had a good streak there, and then the second half of the
we had
night
5
went
in a row.
sour. But we were doing good.
5 in a row, then we had some bad ones. But I like that it's just, I guess it's just, maybe it's as somebody that loves to go out there buck wild. I love that you can die and 10 seconds later all the time. You're always back, right? That's why I like Rebirth Resurgence. But this is even to a bigger degree where no matter what, even if you're in the final circle per se in a Battlefront, you're coming back, right? So I like a lot of variety as far as you got the 4 classes, you got multi little sergeants, you got the heroes. And what I was saying to Dylan is what I like about it is most of the maps, it's like a very similar concept, whether it's like a capture the flag or seek and destroy and stuff like that. But it's like there's like little variations throughout it, which I think kind of keep you engaged. It's not okay, you're playing 5, the only thing that's different is the map, but it's the exact same over and over. And I think it's a really good call as far as this is nothing they've changed. I just like that you switch back and forth between the good guys and bad guys because you always get that perspective of, okay, I'd say each round is 1 round your defense and 1 your offense. And I think that just kind of keeps it fresh, even though you're doing the same things over and over, finding people, killing them, doing objectives, getting points. So no, I had a really good time with it. Obviously, it's tough because we got the Switch and lots of stuff coming out like Death Stranding and Donkey Kong. So I kind of wish the spike happened a little earlier because I would play a couple more in the future. Maybe still will boot up for an hour or two. But
Sure.
yeah, I had a lot more fun. I kind of forgot how much of a good time it was, and it was definitely making me juice into hope that they would do something for a third. I don't know if that ever will happen. Those two games had a lot of problems for different amount of reasons, but yeah, it was a very good time. And I played it like a little bit alone, but I definitely prefer playing with a squad of people because even if we're not in the same vicinity, you guys talking about what's going on or giving little updates, like just hearing Dylan or Taylor be like, "Oh, Vader's on the map," and it's just like, "Oh man, like what's gonna happen now?" So yeah, it was a good time dipping the toes back in there. So.
Yeah, I think it's funny you mentioned that, like if they would make a third one, because this game came with 2017, so obviously previous generation. But even when we were playing, I'm like, man, this game looks like a little bit rough for like just not. It's not even that old, but just in terms of like when they're using the likeness of an actor and it just looks super janky. It's like more noticeable than if they went for a more stylized look. Going for that kind of realism.
Ruben One Kenobi, as you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Which that was cool. I like that. But yeah, like even like Obi-Wan Kenobi's beard, it just looks like it's just a few polygons somehow. Like even though this game's pretty modern, so I could see that there being a space for that, and I guess. Because that had like all this most of the big things from the the sequel trilogy, but I guess there's like all the TV shows like the Ahsokas, Mandalorians of the world that have come out. So I feel like there's a lot of room for getting a bunch of other new characters in there as well. Get Taylor's Thrawn in there as a playable character. That would be that'd be cool. But Taylor, even before this weekend, you've been playing this game for the last like couple weeks, right? I guess since like Andor, you kind of been hyped again.
Yeah, I I hopped on a little bit ago before because I saw that it popped up on my feeds. People were getting back into it, and I saw this comment from the one Andor actor, which I can't remember his name. I have his face in my mind, but he was Andor's like close friend in the show. I can't remember. He was from Ferrex, but anyways,
Jim Mahones.
Thank you.
Nice.
His name. It's not his name.
It's not his name. I believed it. Jim Mahomes, sure. Yeah, so I hopped on and I was just having a blast because it loaded up right away, and this is one that I played off and on for the past couple of years, but not committed to it like I have been this past little bit. So when I get on there, it's nice because I've got all my unlocks, I got my classes, they're ranked up high. It's like, okay, I don't have to worry about buying any or upgrading any of my cards or anything like that. I can just hop right on and just start playing, get back into the groove of things. And it's funny because earlier in the week, my friend, he started playing first, but he sent me a screenshot of him in a lobby, and I was like, "Are you on right now?" And I sent him a shot of me in a lobby. It's like, "Let's just play together. What are we doing?" So we just joined up and we started playing.
He's like,
so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, no. But yeah, I've just been getting back into the space battles and doing the heroes and villains and just all the different game modes and stuff, supremacy, and it's just been an absolute hoot. I am absolutely there that this game should get a Battlefront 3. I think it's criminal that we have not, because it's a curse when they have the original Battlefront 1, original Battlefront 2, and we're on the cusp of getting that third one, and they have like ground to space battles that you can just go up to space and come back down to the planetary side, and just the campaign looked really cool too from what they showed from all that footage. Yes, Mr. Snow.
What was the controversy with the first one? Because I remember both games had bad launches. I remember 2 was the microtransactions. What happened with the first one that was also like kind of snake bit?
The seasons pass, it was brutal. I'm pretty sure that killed it, because so there was a seasons pass with 4 DLCs, and each DLC came with a couple maps and I believe a new character that you get. So you get Lando and some of them, and et cetera, et cetera. But each pack was like $50-$60.
It was,
which was
it wasn't
fucking
cheap.
ridiculous.
And it was one of those, I'm pretty sure they announced it like, Dylan's favorite, or they announced it right as the game's launching, where it feels like, okay, is this DLC or is this stuff you guys just held back? And that was again, that was EA's still bad in portions. They just laid off a bunch. Well, we're going to talk about EA in a little bit about bad, but I feel like back then was peak EA was making terrible decisions, and that's what sucked about. I'm not saying these are like the best games of all time, but it always felt like they got their knees cut out from under them, because both times something happened. It was that. And now I remember, the DLC and the microtransactions. That was the same thing. The height of people being, the second you heard that, it was like a back of, I'm not touching that game. Like even Shadow of War had that. It's like games all over. So okay, thanks for a reminder.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, I do miss that one with some of the stuff that they had, but the second one was a vast improvement. But I remember that year when it came out, and I was playing it, and everyone was just livid. I got to pay how much to just play as Darth Vader? I can't play him with the base game at the start,
Yeah.
and that was a kicker. Lots of people were pissed off, and I was kind of pissed off too. It did kind of suck, but you know what? At the end of the day, I was playing those multiplayer games because I was trying to earn the in-game currency to buy that character. I was working, and it was not too long after that they reversed it and they made all of those characters like immediately accessible online, and then they changed a bunch of things, and that by this point in time the damage was done.
Yeah.
But I stuck it out. I kept playing. I beat the campaign. I played all the multiplayer still, and they were making significant changes. And by the time we got to the Rise of Skywalker DLC and they released the Celebrations Edition, holy shit, they've totally changed over the game. They updated they changed their combat system too, because the card system was different with the abilities, but they overhauled that. I remember that they changed it. They made so many improvements. They added all these new characters. All the DLC was free moving forward. The only thing you're paying for is character skins, or you can just earn the in-game currency to get those skins, which is not that difficult because they just shovel those credits towards you to get those in-game skins. And then when they added all the Clone Wars stuff, I was over the moon because you got Grievous, you got Geordi, you got Obi-Wan, and like the clone customization is incredible. All the different emotes and animations, like it's just phenomenal. So this is a game that deserves that third one, because we need more Jedi, and we have all these shows like get Acolyte in there, get Mandalorian in there. Like playing as Mando, like that would be another huge pop off. I think you were talking about that, Travis, where they should have just made like a Mandalorian game and capitalized on it.
Oh yeah, but I guess we'll find out next year with our pizza bet if they miss the boat or not, right? If Mando's a $1 billion movie, then I think there's tons. Not even that. Whether it's Battlefront 3, like a lot of characters you could add there, but I feel like they might have missed their time with both the game and even just like having Battlefront 3, and they need stars to pop off a little bit, and I don't know when that's happening. So
Yeah, I feel like Battlefront is, enough of like an ensemble type thing that like you could slap Mando's helmet on the cover of that game and like, I don't know, make him like the star of it or something, and like really sell it as like, oh, if you want, we're not gonna make a Mandalorian standalone game, but you can play him in Battlefront and here's all this content. So Taylor, when you're saying that there's like all these skins you can unlock, are those the ones that like when I click on a character and see the locked ones, like are those all the ones in the game, or are there other ones that you can pay for that don't show up until you've like paid for the DLC? How does that work?
Well, there's two ways to get certain skins. There's doing milestones in game, those certain achievements or certain missions, whatever objectives, and then there's the ones you have to buy with either real currency or your in-game currency.
But what I'm asking, do those ones that you have to buy, do they show in game still, even if you like haven't? Because that's one of the things that shocked me is like how few skins there are for like a lot of characters don't have any costume at all, and then some of them like Yoda, it's like you have the hood on or you don't, and that's like the limit of the costume. So I just feel like if they went Battlefront 3 route, and let's say they made it a full price game, not like a free to play thing, I think they could, make all the characters included or not free, but when you buy the game, but then like just have costumes as like the DLC, and that's where you make your microtransaction bucks, and people will pay big time for that. But then you cannot, compromise the like balance of the game, which is such a, I guess even compared to 2017, is a much more common way to release shooters or competitive games or online games, multiplayer games in general. So I feel like that could really work. But that's one of the things I was shocked about, is just how few costumes there were in here. That seems like such a layup for so many Star Wars things. We were talking about like Obi-Wan, and they don't have like old Ben. They don't have they don't have like that version. Like there's so many that are just missing. Like, there's like barely any of them in there. So I feel like that could be a good route for them to like, still have like their crazy monetization, but it still be like a balanced game and not having people like pissed off that they can't play like Vader from the get-go. But it's weird that like, the first one, or like of the remakes at least, came out 2015, then this came out 2017. Super quick turnaround, and so I feel like maybe that soured some people too. If you're like, I just bought that last one, you're already making me pay for this new one, and there's microtransactions everywhere. So I don't know. I feel like a third one could be really cool just because of how many characters. Even like since that time of 2017, we've had like the 2 Star Wars Jedi games from EA as well, and Respawn, and those are pretty big games. They're like buggy, I guess, but they're still like big games that people quite enjoy and have like increased that stock and maybe that trust with EA. And I was saying too, when we were playing, like I think Cal would be a really cool character to have in the mix there as a playable character, since he is like originated from the video games and is kind of a bigger deal now that he's had 2 games to star in. So yeah, it'd be really cool to see this series come back. I think it could use that, and I don't know. I mean, not that I've played a ton of this game yet. I'm sure there's still tons and tons of maps I haven't even seen, but I feel like all the theories you had there, Taylor. Like, there's a lot of ways that they could reinvent the mechanics, but even just new characters is really what most people, I think, want from Star Wars anyway. Just solid mechanics, get all their favorite characters in there, and you're good to go. So, yeah, I'd be curious to see if we. What do you guys think the likelihood is? Percent chance that we get a Battlefront 3, and I'll say just the next, like, 10 years or something.
Two things. One, before I forget, you remind me about it was 2015, 2017. It would be nice to get a Battlefront 3 that I feel like they're not trying to time with a movie release, because I feel like that's what they're always trying to do, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's one point before I forget. So like I said, currently, it's tough because this spike. It's tough because two things. I legitimately do think that movie next year factors into some things just for the future of Star Wars in general, because I think if that does hit big, they get a nice little, push up. If not, then I feel like a lot of people we're not going to risk this Star Wars game. And the other thing is just how long does this spike last, right? Because it can be is it for a moment, is it these next couple weeks, and then in 2 weeks Star Wars Battlefront is maybe not back to being where it was a couple months ago, but it's dropped 50-60%, and it's slowly going to peter off. So it's tough because we don't have that and we're closer to it. But I think right now I'm at a it's Battlefront 3. I'll give it a 30%. That's where I am. Ooh. But again, ask me different times. Ask me in a month from now, and if this game's still popping off, then I feel like that's actual physical data for EA to look at and be like, hey, this is something where could be valuable. And again, ask me again in a year when it's pulp culture data. So that's where it's like, could ever change. But right now I feel 30. I don't think I'm too confident on it, because I think lots of companies are pretty skittish on just kind of every type of game, and especially with Battlefront, the last ones maybe being disappointing. Even with the spike, they might feel like, we kind of got away with it. We're happy people are playing it now, but let's not get back to that territory.
Yeah.
So.
And Outlaws, was Ubisoft, not EA, but it did not do well. So that could be a data point of like, this is kind of risky. It's not like necessarily up, but I don't know. I feel like there's, I don't know, definitely a good chance that they could like get a pretty big success out of this. But yeah, Taylor, what's your percent chance of this comeback?
After seeing some of the team come forward and say that it's not going to happen.
Have they? I didn't even see that.
Yes.
Was that recently though, or was that like?
It was recently.
I think it was. I saw the team talk about, but I saw one person. I saw the reverse of someone not saying it was impossible, saying like, if it's on the table, we'd love to do it. But I didn't see the negative comments, so that sucks.
Interesting.
I guess there hasn't been like an actual official no, but
there you go, Taylor.
I swear.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that'd be someone who like left the company and could say that now. But if you still work there, that'd be a really
absolutely
crazy thing to say. But one argument I was going to say too, like I don't remember really where EA Play as a subscription service was back in 2017, but I think to your point there, Travis, of like keeping a player base, keeping people engaged, like, I just downloaded this game through Game Pass because EA Play is integrated in there. I don't know if they would launch a third game day one into like their streaming service, but even if you like maybe you get a discount if you're like subscribed to EA Play slash Game Pass, that's like, a great way to just boost your player count on any multiplayer game. And so maybe just having that bit more of an ecosystem around it would mean that there's just more players and more of an audience, and then they can really nickel and dime people with the skins and make a big profit that way, even if a lot of people are just getting in the door for free or quote unquote, or like in there with their subscription that they already had prior to.
Even if like UB Plus, how much is that? That's like the double digits, right? I'm pretty sure
it's $20 at this point. I think. Yeah.
To me, even if EA did that, where hey, you can do the same regular EA Play, but for a new game like you, and I don't know how successful that is, right? Because
how much is EA Play if you just get that on its own? Like I only ever
just like
use it
$7.99, right? Kirkland was saying, because Kirkland was talking about getting Battlefront through EA Play, and I think he got it for a deal. So I think it's like $7.99, which is pretty good, because most of the time, like, they put their older games, right? Like, I'm always playing Madden a year and a half behind, because I'm playing, like, I just got Madden 25, and Madden 26 is about to come out next month. So they usually make sure their games are a bit older, but
here, so they have two tiers. They have EA Play and EA Play Pro. EA Play is $7.99, as you said. You can play trials of select games for up to 10 hours, unlimited access to a collection of top EA titles, so who knows what that really means.
Madden, like I'm playing Madden right now, like a year behind, so like I think they'd consider that like a top,
Okay. And then a couple other things. And then at the pro levels, when you get day one access to full games, premium editions. So
like UB Plus?
Yeah, pretty much like 20.
Jeez.
Yeah, I guess $23 a month if
See,
you want that.
that to me is where, again, I don't think it's going to happen. But even then, right now, I think that's way more a selling point, whether it's for a review or just trying it for you. Even like someone like you, Dylan, like that's how you played Outlaws, right? Same thing of like, hey, I don't know
Yep.
if me, Dylan Musk, is going to pay $100 for a Star Wars game, but $20, play it for a month, see, go from there. Great.
Same for
even if it's-
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Whatever the heck the new game's called. Just jump in there for a month.
And I think if you got enough people that would try that out, and then maybe if they like it, then maybe commit to staying subscribed or purchasing.
And
more.
notoriously, people forget that they have subscriptions, so you often
yeah.
I feel like you do get a second or third month just from people not like remembering to cancel. I almost got pegged for a second month of UB when I was playing Assassin's Creed because I just almost forgot to cancel it and caught it like the day before I was about to renew. So that was lucky on my part.
So that would be a potential perfect game. So I'd like to see it happen because it's a completely different ecosystem now. So, and that's good to know about EA. I did not know that they had a pro tier. So I don't have any EA, like I'm always fine playing the Madden games a year behind, but now in the future, if there's an EA game coming out that I am interested in, that's a game changer right there. I didn't even know that. So cool. I learned something today. So
yeah. Okay, well, we can move along then. Staying in the EA realm of things. Black Panther. This was a game that was announced a few years ago from a new team. I forget the name. It was a startup studio, but the game and that studio, I guess the studio hasn't been canceled. The studio has been closed, and the game has been canceled. So the Black Panther game is no more. This not to be confused with the King Captain Soldier Spy, the Hydra 1943 game. This is not that one. This was the second game, and we also know there's an Iron Man game that's still out there in the EA world. So we'll see what happens to that one. But this one has officially been canceled after apparently 4 years of pre-production. So it never entered full-on production. Apparently they were staffing up in the last few months, so maybe it was like getting to that point or just on the cusp. But pretty crazy, and it seems like part of that is maybe that this game was very ambitious. Like that, it seemed like they were implementing a bit of a nemesis system type thing. A lot of the people on this team came from Monolith, and so had that expertise. Once again, that of course is like trademarked or copyright. Like you can't use the exact nemesis system, but they can do variations on it. This game was going to apparently involve scrolls as like a major villainy thing. And then maybe the biggest, most interesting part is that there was going to be this element where T'Challa, Shuri, and Killmonger were all characters, and at the start of the game, you pick one of these three, and the other ones become rivals as you're going through the world, and that would be more where the nemesis type stuff would kind of come into play here. So that's some, like, at least for me when I was reading through some of the details, there's things that stood out to me. But Travis, I think you were pretty bummed to get this, especially after seeing some of this details of the game. But yeah, what are your thoughts here?
The news even more so, because it was always just a concept, right? I feel like we've done many casts, and I feel like, look in the ethos, I think we did some topic, me and Dylan, at some point, and either it was our 1 or 2, because our 1 might have been like a Marvel Alliance 4 or 3, whenever we did in the era, but you and me on both our lists, and many times talked about, hey, out of all, to me, the games that are not Batman or Spider-Man, what is the most potential for like a great comic book video game? And Black Panther to me just screamed money. Now obviously we're in a different generation and there's lots of lots of layoffs in general in the business. There's like the Star Wars thing, track records for Guardians or Midnight Sun's not doing well, so maybe there's a thing of, well, this is not a guaranteed hit, right? But at the same time, I just thought, as far as the potential, take the sales out of it, of you get enough good people working on it, and it sounded like they acquired at least some people that have done some good things in the past, and things like the Shadow, like, to me, that's a good fit. The same way that team, people from those teams were a good fit for Wonder Woman, that was a good fit for Black Panther. Like, even in that game, I feel like I'm in Middle Earth. They get that capture, that vibe very well. So for me, when this was announced, other than it being EA being the, okay, let's see how this goes, I thought, okay, this is kind of unlimited potential. And that's before I did hear the things. But I thought just Wakanda alone as a location is just kind of a groundswell to do so much, and it's like a thing where it's been explored still very little even in the MCU, right? And I just thought, man, there's so much potential there. And even that stuff of, not just Black Panther, like playing as Killmonger, a character that has really popped up a couple years, like it feels like they were smart, especially too, the story was, I can't remember, it was like the original Black Panthers was stepping down from the mantle or fought them or something like that. The plot details and the Skrulls were the villain. And I think this is the perfect place for the Skrulls, because I've always said I don't like them in the sense of, long-term comic books or the movies, because you get invested in character. And then, as we know from Scrody, like, oh, this character's that. Like, I'm kind of bummed. We're in a video game world that's like secluded to itself. You can tell within that story I don't have years of investments in these characters.
Right.
That to me is a twist where someone can have me go, oh, that's interesting. And having the multiple characters, so it kind of sucks to me, the concept of the game was always a great idea. The team sounded like we had some potential there. But now some of these things as far as the villains, I liked the story beats. It sounded like they're really going on their own path, which is something that I've always complained, even though I love the games, the Spider-Man games don't do enough of. Lots of times it feels very kind of color in the lines of comic book stories you've seen 100 times in animation or movies, like the Doc Ock or the Green or Venom, right? There's not too much different. It's just, okay, I'm playing a very good video game version of that, where this sound like they're kind of doing their own thing, kind of like the Batman Arkham series, where until we got tonight, they're really we're taking the world and the characters, but we want to tell our own stories within it. So yeah, this to me, from everything, this hurt a lot. The few concept arts out there, obviously it's just concept art, right? But I could look at it and be like, man, this would have been looking great on my PS5 or Xbox One, whatever it may be, like, or PS6 maybe. But yeah, to me, it's a big bummer, and it has made me more cautious. I was iffy on buying that Captain America Black Panther game. I'm going to buy it now because we don't know how many more superhero games we're going to get in the next little bit. And now if I want to play as any type of Black Panther, it's that. Because for me, that game is, okay, you play as a Black Panther, you play as Cap, but then those two other characters you played, I'm like, I don't really have much interest in, like, another soldier and another warrior from Wakanda. Like, I just want to play as these two. But to get any content in Black Panther world, I'm going to be buying this game. And yeah, to me, it's a big bummer. It sounds like it had, just potential. You never know. Could have came out and not been great, but at least I would like to have the chance to experience it not being great. And I feel bad for the people that worked on it for all these years. It's like other stuff. It's like, obviously bad reception, but with Concord, like, it's tough for these people that work on stuff and they don't even have anything to show for it. That to me must really suck, because not only are you losing your job, at least if something comes out and it's underwhelming, you could still try to look at it and be like, hey, I'm going to highlight what I did on this project and what I did well, and hopefully some things were done well. But in every movie, TV show, game, for the most part, it's not 100% zero, nothing was done well. There's a few spots we've talked about many years of products that come out that are, maybe truly atrocious, but most of the time there's something there. And it just sucks that now it's like, you've been 4 years and yeah, sure, you got paid, but you don't have any work out there to show off or even look back on it. Like, even if the game bombs, like, well, at least I worked on a Black Panther game, and it shows how much things are just not safe. Like, I thought Black Panther would have been a safe one. Even in this press release, these bastards are like, but don't worry, we ensure the Iron Man game is going to have, lots of love and care. I'm paraphrasing, but like, they're pretty much just being like, that Iron Man game, don't worry, it's going to come out. Yeah. All right. Like, that's what you're going to say after this. It could be. Iron Man is a bigger character, but it's like at the lowest point of me believing that's actually going to happen. So all around, a really big bummer. And I hope in 5 years from now, something happens where there is a studio that does something and we get to be actually excited again. But big bummer losing Wonder Woman and Black Panther in the past 6 months.
Yeah,
and those were two
1-2 sweep for sure.
Yeah, and those are two. Not that, don't get me wrong, I actually really like the Guardians game, but that wasn't what I was super wanting, right? Same thing, Midnight Suns. I wasn't super wanting that, and then once we saw more and I got the game, I was like, oh, this is great. So it's kind of funny, the games that I was very low on end up coming up with the games that I was like, oh, I cannot wait for this. Wait 4 years, nothing. So yeah, big disappointment over here.
Yeah. Taylor, I don't know if I've talked to you about this game. I don't know if it's ever come up on like an episode of Sidequest that you've been on, but I don't know. Were you anticipating this, looking forward to this in the same way that Travis was?
And Travis is probably like way higher than in terms of excitement than I am. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I would have loved to have played it. I am definitely have a level of excitement because I think the Nemesis system is fantastic, and that's one of my favorite things about those Lord of the Rings Middle Earth games. I think that it's a shame that it's not employed in many other titles and franchises out there, but it just would be nice to kind of get my hands into something a bit more Marvel. I know there's Midnight Suns, and that is on my list to eventually work my way there, but I don't want
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, that's right.
Cheap to get right now, Taylor. Somewhere.
Oh, it is.
It is. I'm waiting for that $6.99 Battlefront II sale.
I think it's
price.
been there before. I swear at Christmas I saw it like for $10 or something.
Maybe this Christmas I'll keep my eyes open for that sale price and I'll snag it finally. But I mean, I if the Switch 2 wasn't coming out, then I was strongly looking at the idea of getting a PS5 because I didn't want to play Spider-Man on my PC, even though it is available there. But I thought, oh, well, like PS5 is getting some pretty cool stuff. And I mean, Spider-Man is one that I enjoyed playing, and I'd love to get back into that world. But as far as it goes for just Marvel games in general, Xbox does not really have a huge arsenal. And even then when Switch 2 does come out, like obviously, yeah, we'll be playing Mario Kart, but I'm really excited just to pop on Ultimate Alliance 3 and just start giving that a go again. I've just been kind of getting a craving for that. So yeah, I think to have something like this get canceled when Marvel's it's struggled for sure. The cinematic universe is not in a perfect standing right now.
Struggling, I'd say. I wouldn't say struggle. We're not the past tense part yet. We gotta wait till next year. You know.
So I definitely I'm there. I have some excitement for some of their projects and what's going on, and I think that it would be nice to have not a tie-in game, but just a Marvel game where I could just exert my excitement into this franchise. I never got on board with the Avengers game. I think you guys played that, but that died pretty quick, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Because they canceled some DLC too for that, didn't they?
Yep, same thing.
Yeah, there was a ton of rumored characters and stuff, but one of the characters that did get out the door was Black Panther, which had a super great moveset, which is one of the reasons why I was excited for this game. Between that and even just Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which has simpler movesets overall, less buttons per character, but Black Panther is always a super duper fun character, super agile, great combos, and so that's why I was really looking forward to this game. I just feel like that character is perfect for it. Now, obviously, we are still getting one iteration of him through this 1943 thing, but I kind of feel like it's going to be more of a narrative game. I don't know if it's going to be combat first, but kind of a disappointment nonetheless.
Taylor, don't forget though, you got Blade hopefully coming to Xbox. Hopefully.
That's true.
Is that still coming out?
Yeah.
Well, as I say, I'm saying hopefully.
I mean, Xbox did shut down the other Arcane, so hopefully this one is safe for the time being, since their games have been a bit more commercially successful, with the Deathloop in particular being their last title. But man, I can't wait for Blade. That's definitely still I think top 3 for me excitement or most anticipated games right now, just because I love the studio, interested in the character, something different for them too. Should be a good time. Yeah. Okay, how about we take our first break here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Patreon, because that is the best place to go if you want to support this show and make sure that we continue to make podcasts for years and years to come. It's the absolute best way to support us. If you even jump in on the lowest tier, that is just infinitely more beneficial to us than even just if you gave us 1 million YouTube views somehow, on one person. It's that's how much more meaningful it is to hit up the Patreon. It helps us out an extremely high amount. I'm trying to pull up my list of Patreon producers here. Can someone help me find this freaking banner? I can't see it anywhere.
I don't think it's in the Sidequest banner, but it's...
Oh, is that the issue with it?
April Darkness, Aaron Braden,
Jack Grant, God Loves Me 69, Superbad Mike,
Jeremy Renner, Charlie Randell,
Cocktail Clay's in there.
I don't think I'm missing anybody else. If I am, then I owe you a big shout out. But yeah, there's even a free tier, which we post some stuff on, post the schedule sometimes if there's questions put out there. So even then, if you want just little updates, there's a whole variety behind the scenes stuff and lots of good stuff coming this next month or so. So
yeah, all episodes go up there early and ad free, so it's a great place to go to get the best versions of these podcasts. And yeah, as you guys mentioned, we have just so much up there right now, so many retros and bread and butters that I'm sure are going to go up there nice and early. For example, pretty soon we are recording our top 10 video games episode, and that's going to be up there probably nice and early on Patreon before it's in the free feed and all that kind of thing. So definitely go check that out. And if you want to skip this ad that's about to hit you, Patreon's the place to go. But otherwise, you can listen to this quick ad break. We'll be right back. Boom, we are back. Let's talk a little bit about Summer Game Fest and Xbox Showcase, all these other showcases that happen around this early June period of time. I feel like right now we don't know a ton. I mean, if you go on the Summer Game Fest website, there's a list of 50 companies that are involved, so you can look at that and be like, oh, Capcom's here. What is Capcom doing? So there's you can find little hints there. Other than that, we know that Death Stranding 2 is getting a big new trailer situation there. I forget what they announced exactly, but they're doing something. And then the officially called 007 First Light. Is James Bond going to be in the title of that, or is it just 007 First Light?
I bet, or at least it'll be double. Or it is right now 007 First Light, right?
That's what I thought, but I don't know if James
Either way,
Bond's in the
the
title of
word
game.
James Bond or 007 will be in there. I think there's.
Yeah,
I think if
definitely
they just put out
007.
a game called First Light, they're idiots. So I think you'll
Yeah.
get one of the things. 007 might just be like, it's easier on the box art, easier to type, easier
Yeah.
SEO, stuff. But yeah, oh, can't wait.
Yeah, so we
It's
know
real.
that we're getting a gameplay. They said gameplay. We'll see. Is it
Did
GTA 6 gameplay or is it actual gameplay? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's coming out on Friday, along with some other, like they said, some Hitman news too, which they're getting my hopes
Yep.
up for another new map for World of Assassination. It's probably not going to be that, but I will be that would be my announcement of the show if that's the case, just because it's one of my favorite games ever. But yeah, so those are two things we know about. But other than that, it's pretty wide open in terms
And
of.
Mind Eye too. Don't forget about Mind Eye.
Okay,
for
sorry.
IO.
Mind's Eye, published
Yeah,
by
Mind's
IOI,
Eye,
is
yeah.
getting that game's coming out next week, I think. So I guess it's just like a launch trailer.
What?
I'm pretty sure it's coming
I
out
did
like
not know this game
immediately.
existed till today.
No, it's been at a few showcases and things over.
Well,
over
that
the last
shows
few months.
the impression it's
I think it was
made.
at Game Awards, which I don't. You were away on pat leave at that
Right,
point in
yeah.
time, so maybe that's why you missed that one. Maybe that was the first time it was announced. But
Okay.
anyway, we're gonna go around the table here, do some predictions for what we think we're gonna see here. If you want to get super specific, I think that's fun, but you don't have to. You can do whatever you want here. Who wants to take it off? Who's got a first prediction? They just can't wait to hurl at the screen here.
I will, because I think I could. It's not a draft, so it could be like specific. But I'm gonna start with a prediction, but then kind of go into what I'd like from that prediction.
Okay.
Because I think if I put that price tag on the full prediction, it's not like real. But speaking about that, James Bond 1, very happy it's real. Very happy. It sounds like we're getting some sort of gameplay, because at least I would hopefully that means the release date's in the next 12 months, and that gets me very excited,
Ooh.
because the movie that's not the prediction. That's just a hope. But
Okay.
I'll say that next 12 months it's going to come out, and that's
Sweet.
exciting for me, is because we don't got a movie coming for a very long time. My prediction, they did not show the face. I'm going to say that James Bond's going to be a movie/TV actor. Now,
Oh,
someone might
okay.
be like, "Oh, that's a lame prediction." The reason why I don't think it is because I was talking about this with Emily, because I was like, I had two ways to go. I said, should I predict it's a movie, TV, or a video game one? Because to me, if it's just a video game actor, it's like, okay, that's like, if it's just Troy Baker's face, it's like, okay, like that's cool, but like I don't think it has the chutzpah. But at the same time, I think a movie, TV actor is like risky, because I feel like if you do that, you've taken your name out of that hat for the movie, right? Unless there's some huge, massive announcement that Keely's got like a scoop on somebody. But so I'm just the blanket prediction is game's gonna be on the next 12 months, and it's gonna be a movie/TV actor. So that's the prediction. What I think is the smart way to do this is, because I could see a lot of young actors, unless you really have nothing going on, like I said, say, I don't know if I want to do that, because maybe I do want to play Bond one day. My prediction is it's going to be an actor that is like in their 50s to 60s that they de-age. So someone that could never be cast as Bond
Okay.
currently, but it's like, oh, you could have seen them. Like, I don't think it would be, but like Tom Hardy, right? He's a guy that around 10 years ago was throwing around tons. Now he's gonna be 50 soon. You don't think he's going to actually be Bond, and I don't think they'd get Tom Hardy. That'd be a massive get. But I think someone like that, where you could see them be like, oh, even if the actor's like 60, 65, you'd be like, oh, yeah, they would have made a great Bond. And they could also do that because it's not like, oh, man, like their name's out of the hat. So that's what I think the approach is going to be, that it's going to be a movie, TV actor, but someone of a couple generations ago. So it's not like I said. So, but I think no matter what, it's movie to TV, because they hid his face, which I thought that's
Right.
odd. I like, why hide Bond's face? It's James Bond. It's just the cover of it. Maybe you want that to be the reveal. Maybe you're playing from first person, I guess. But to me, I was like, okay, I think there's a face we know there. And don't get me wrong, if it's a current actor, I'd love that, right? If there's some actor that goes, hey, I know they're never going to hire me as Bond, but I'm British. Sure, let's do it.
Charlie Cox, he was just in Expedition 33
Sure.
in the video game world.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic. He's British in real life, so that'd be a great choice. Because same thing, is he going to be? No, he's on the older side. He's Daredevil. Even then, he's like mid-40s. That even works. So I think Bond's usually, 30, whatnot. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a movie, TV actor. I think if it's just a video game actor, I don't think it like has that that big oomph, so you should have showed the face, you know, because I think a movie TV actor is like, oh man, it's so and so, and I think that could be just fun. It's like a movie announcement, so that's what I'm going with. James Bond next 12 months, releasing, and movie TV actor as the titular character.
Leaving the prediction behind, who's your number one dream pick for who they would get in that like older guy realm?
I couldn't think of anybody. There's one person I thought of that I thought would kind of be fun for them. Is there's an actor I'm sure you've seen before. His name's Timothy Dalton. He only played Bond twice, and it wasn't really that successful. And then they moved on to Pierce Brosnan. I would love that, where they're like, oh, well, it's, you know, kind of an established, it's like a cheat where it is a Bond, but you can kind of de-age him and use him, and he didn't really get his flow. But yeah, like I said, to me, the dream would be Tom Hardy, because I don't think Tom Hardy now, I agree with other people. I mean, Emily were talking about this, like, Idris Elba would be great, but that cover art is a white man, so I don't think it's him, unless that's an even bigger reveal. Like, no, it's not. Like, Idris Elba's actually like the high key, like that would be fantastic. That voice, everything.
And so, he was in Cyberpunk, right? So he's done some video game voice acting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've been trying to think of your Charlie Cox one. That's a really good prediction. So I've been trying to think of other like older British chaps that could do it. You know, maybe he's not British, but Fassbender I'd love. Just cheat and make him, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's my prediction.
Nice. I love it. What do you got, Taylor?
Oh, I could see a Hugh Grant being in there. That would be a great James Bond.
You know what? They talked to him before Craig, and the reason he didn't do it is because he felt it was going to be too silly like the old films they changed up. So Grant is actually not a terrible option. I don't think it would be, but I can see it.
I don't know if he would do a video game. I don't know if I see Hugh Grant doing a video game.
What about, here's another good one, Dylan, what about Hugh Dancy, who played Will Graham in Hannibal? He's British in real life. You know, young him up a little.
I don't know if like I can only hear him in that voice. I don't know. Does he have like a good Bond type voice? Like, does he have the
He's
cojones,
British.
the gravitas?
It's perfect. Good enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done some voice acting. Maybe not my strongest pick, but you know, I'm just throwing out other British chaps.
Yeah, where's he been? You know, where's he been? Let's just get Mads Mikkelsen to do, okay?
He's on Law and Order right now. Hugh Dancy. He's been doing that for like 5 years.
Where all actors go to die. Law and Order.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, Taylor, leaving Bond behind, what's your first prediction?
Oh my goodness. You know, I'm just at this point I'm just sounding like a broken record. My prediction is that we get something oh my god. Why can't I remember the freaking name of it? Frig. I'm drawing a blank now. It's the third one. It's Zombie, third one.
State of Decay.
Thank you. State of Decay 3. Just losing my mind here. State of Decay 3. I have been waiting on that since they announced it a long freaking time ago, and they have not followed up on anything with the title since. All we got is one measly cinematic. That's it. So that's my prediction. We get a bigger reveal here.
Yeah, I remember there was some like issues at the studio or something like that. There was like some controversy kind of thing. I feel like that's one that like it's been gone for so long, and I don't think we ever got gameplay, right? Just like that cinematic, that I think they're gonna wait until they can show like a good hefty chunk of gameplay before we get it. So if we do get it here, I think it'll be like a good showing and not just like some other animation that we can, you know, soak in for the next 2 years. But I think that could make sense. Like, you know, show it off here, kind of remind us that it exists. Maybe it comes out next year, and then it's one of the games that gets highlighted in the Xbox Developer Direct that they've been doing every January now. I feel like that's a perfect game to give 15, 20 minutes to like really dive deep on it. So I could see that happening. I think, you know, who knows how those studio issues are going to square off, but like, let's say they figured out some of that stuff. I think it is about time for this freaking game to exist in a meaningful way. Okay. Yeah, my first prediction here. I think we are going to see the reveal of Resident Evil 9.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I think it's been long enough. The last Resident Evil thing we got was Resident Evil 4 Remake in 2023. I don't know if it's the same studio that's making these remakes that is making like the mainline titles, but I think Village came out in 2021 at this point. But Resident Evil seems like they have a shorter development time than like other studios do, so I think it's about time that we see something like this. There was also there was some sort of hint that they posted on like Twitter or something recently that like was it a Resident Evil type thing, and there was like people were in the background like, oh, there's definitely a 9 back here. So I think it's definitely in the ether. It's out there right now. The safe prediction here is that it releases next year. but I'm gonna go wild and say that it actually comes out this year.
I can
Actually, you know
see
what?
it.
I'm immediately taking that back. I think it's going to come out between. It is the safe thing. It's not like we're doing this for points. It's just
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
I do think though, because I think Resident Evil Village came out in May, so I'll say that this game comes out between February and like May, June of next year. I think it's a bit safer, gives them a bit more time to do the marketing cycle. Release it or do the first announcement now. A few months of build up. Game Awards do another big trailer, and then it kind of comes out a few months after that. So that's what I'll go for as my my timeline for it.
Didn't Resident Evil 7 come out in the fall though? So I'm just trying to counter. I know it was the
me see.
newest one, but I feel like because I don't think you're completely wrong that could have a short turnaround window.
That came out in January, apparently. Is that
Okay,
true?
so if that's the case, then I'm leaning more towards your prediction of early next year. Then that would make sense. But
Yeah,
can
and
still see
I
it
think
finding its way in the fall somehow.
I'm pretty sure Village is the best-selling game of the series, so I feel like they want to okay, what was the formula for how that game was successful? Let's try and copy as much of that as we can with the next one. My last part of this is that I think for the protagonist, we're going to see the return of a beloved protagonist from a previous game. I'm thinking of Leon. I'm thinking of Jill. I'm thinking of Claire. Now, I haven't played Resident Evil 6 yet. I don't know if any of those characters die in one of those games because I've been playing the games in a weird order, and I've played through most of them now, but I haven't got to 6, and I don't know if any of them die in there. But if they don't, I think one of those 3 is going to be at least a co-protagonist. Some of these games kind of switch back and forth between multiple characters. Not like Village and 7 didn't, although I guess 8's Village's DLC you played as a different character, but that was, kind of a weird situation. But I think at least one of those 3 is going to be a playable character in this game, and that would be part of the main reveal that we get here.
I was gonna say because I still haven't played 8, but I've heard that connects to the kind of greater franchise. Then there's a particular character.
Yes,
right,
there is a
comes in-
specific
yes.
character that's in
Yeah.
there at one point. Yeah.
So I think you're right with 9. It could do that. With that 9, I'm just interested of do they continue that thread 7 and 8 kind of started, or is it old characters but kind of something just kind of completely new and different? It's
Yeah.
interesting. So
That's a good point that we all those old characters I just mentioned have never been in the first person realm of the new
Yes.
Resident Evil games. And so that could be maybe if you have these old characters, do you want to not show them in that way that first person you only see their hands other than cutscenes, of course? But I do think they are going to stick with first person for at least a trilogy's worth of first person. Then maybe we get. I think also they do the remakes in third person, they do the new games in first person. I think that kind of makes sense, and I do think this next one will also be first person. But I think that's a pretty safe prediction.
And I feel like I'm not wrong. Didn't Resident Evil 8 sell better than 7? I thought that did.
Yes,
pretty
I think
good.
that's the best-selling game in the
So-
series, other than maybe 4 remake or something like that.
To me, because I've said this before, but a quick recap if you're a new listener, I was a big fan of Resident Evil when I was a wee lad, had it on the GameCube, the PlayStation 1 to 4 was my jam. I still have the remakes for, I think, 3 and 4 owned, and I haven't touched them, but I have to go back at some point and play them. So they're sitting there waiting. But then to me, from 5, 6, they kind of lost their way. Even a bit of 4 were starting to lose their way, and they got really big and all more Walking Dead, like what the movies were that Taylor likes. That for me isn't Resident Evil. So with 7 and 8, especially because the sales, I think they found a really good method to try to incorporate but do something new. So that's my only worry. If I think you could be right, but that is my worry. If I don't want to go right back to third person and kind of get us we've steered away from that very messy kind of apocalyptic type of Resident Evil. I don't want to steer back into it. So I hope with 9 it is maybe old characters but fresh coat of paint. So that's my only fear. If I don't think you're wrong, but I just don't want to dip my toes back into fighting gigantic huge monsters all the time in the Resident Evil, keep it a little special. So
Yeah, they definitely like to do that. They like to go crazy in Act 3 with the Resident Evil games. I'm looking it up, and because Capcom has been doing a lot of showcases recently. I can't see if there's an official confirmation, but it seems like there's maybe hints that Capcom would do a showcase a little bit later in June, just a few days after Summer Game Fest. But I still think that Resident Evil is the kind of series you do at Summer Game Fest, and then you follow up in a Capcom showcase with here's 10 minutes with a more deep dive kind of thing. So I'm kind of shooting for Summer Game Fest here is where this will happen, but could be something else over the course of the weekend as well. Yeah, Travis, back to you.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm taking this one because I had Resident Evil coming up, so I have a replacement though, and
Okay.
I don't think people are going to take this one, but this one someone could take, and I'm very happy it wasn't taken. And Taylor, I don't know if you're down this road, but at least it's going to make you happy. I think we're going to finally go back to the park. Jurassic Park Survival is going to get a big actual reveal. Maybe, let's have fun. A release window. I'll say, even if they date it, just because Jurassic World Rebirth's about to come out, I think they like to do that of like, of course the game's not going to be out in time in a few weeks, but just that idea of SEO, people searching it, people seeing it, and that idea of anyone looking for tickets or anything might stumble upon, oh, there's a game. And I think it will be like that first trailer. We got that first that was just like a cinematic reveal trailer, right? And then I think it was maybe 4 months ago, maybe it was last year, maybe I was wrong, but I feel like within the last 6 months, we've gotten updates. There was like devs talked or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So at least it's better than like Black Panther or Bond, which Bond was always like, we're excited to talk about one day. And I was always like, that's not like, in this day and age where games we lose all the time. But this game, it's like still been in the zeitgeist people talking about. So I think, but though this will be kind of like we Taylor some of the State of K3, this will be its coming out party. I don't know if it would be this year. That would be the hype for them, right? A perfect 1-2 punches reveal here. Movie probably makes $1 billion, and then the fall, boom, Jurassic Park. And especially now if they get it out in that vicinity, and I don't know who's doing this game, but Ubisoft managed to do that with Avatar, right? They got it not too far after Avatar 2. It wasn't exactly, but it was still within that kind of striking zone. So I think this is the perfect time. There's just something because the risk is Jurassic World Rebirth comes out, it sucks, it disappoints box office wise. Then you got, it's kind of like when Borderlands game came in originally, like the next one, it was like they released that trailer a couple weeks after the movie because they thought it was gonna be a little bit better than that, and it was kind of this kind of meme online. Luckily the game, I think, is that game out yet? Borderlands 4?
No. That's probably going to be popping up this weekend. I don't have it in my predictions, but I'm sure it's going to be somewhere.
Yeah. Even though they seem to be botching that. You saw it when the lead devs had to apologize for it. Yeah. If you want to play, you'll find the money. Don't say stuff like that when people are like any day people are like, oh, recession might happen. It's like that's the most kind of like 1% bullshit ever. But I think Jurassic Park, this is the time because like I said, you don't want to reveal after a disappointing movie, in my opinion. Even if it is 2026 and it's like later, I think you're gonna get big reveal, launch day, launch window. I'm not even gonna say fall 2026, just the year. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah,
love it. What do you got, Taylor?
I think we're gonna get some Jedi 3 kind of announcement or reveal stuff. Something. I think it could be a logo or whatever, because we know that game is in the works. We know that they're
Was
tackling
that a confirmed thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot.
I was just trying to see when those stupid titles, Jedi Survivor, I hate them all. It's like the No Way Home things that came out 2023. Okay, yeah, actually what was the month of that? I feel like that
2019 was
the
the first one, and then I guess 2023, 4 years.
Spring.
So April. So yeah, we're officially 2 years. So I could see that more on the teasery side, but I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, I think you'll get probably like a cinematic. I don't think you get gameplay or anything. A cinematic, probably the logo, and maybe a date or something like that. But
some Cal dark side stuff like him with some red eyes or something like that, because that's something they were well, that's a classic
thumbnail.
Yeah, exactly, like something dark side ish, I bet. So yeah.
Cool. Okay, my next one here, I'm going specifically with the Xbox showcase. I think we are going to get a nice little sizzle of a little 2-pack of DLC updates for Starfield. Ooh. I think Starfield is, a game that, came out, and by like Bethesda standards, like I think kind of seen as like, sort of a mid title. Me and Travis really enjoyed it. Taylor, I don't think you ever went back to it, so I can assume you didn't really care for it that much. We really enjoyed it, but like, as far as the overall or the fan perception of it, I think it's kind of like a more mid or like lower title. However, I think Bethesda wants to keep this game alive and wants it to like have that resurgence and wants to support it for years to come. Todd Howard has said as much, although he's lied many times before in the public eye, so we'll see what happens here. But I think, if we look at a game like Fallout 76, which came out just almost people losing complete faith in the studio. What's going on here? Like, and see where that game is now and the upward trajectory it took. I think Starfield's already in a way better spot than that game was when it first launched. And so to get to the point where people love Starfield, I think is something that's very doable. And so my pitch here is that we're gonna get kind of like how Fallout 4. I don't know if you guys remember. Fallout 4 had two like main story DLCs. It had the Nuka World and the Far Harbor DLC. But then along with that, they had like contraption DLC, like random things for like building and stuff. I forget what those DLCs were called. I think we're gonna see a similar thing here, where we get one story like pack DLC thing that's shown off here, whether that's a new planet that shows up, or like in the case of the last one where you like go to a planet that was off the maps before, something like that, or like a new moon has shown up, or it's just we take some existing moon and maybe we go deep underground and find some new city there or something like that. So it'll be a big story DLC sizzle reel thing. But then I think we'll also get that second part, that builder part of it. And my prediction here is one of two things. Either one, that they really revamp like the building out your ship. So that had some decent customization to it, but I think a big part missing with it is like you couldn't really design in a meaningful way like the inside of your ship and do any fun inside decoration. And so I think they either completely overhaul that and make that an exciting feature, or they add the ability to like build a space station. So now you can just like build, you could build on planets anywhere you want. You could build your ship sort of, but I think that's maybe the missing part is like building out space stations, and that could be like a fun home base thing. It could maybe travel around to different like whenever you go to a new solar system, maybe it comes with you, so you can quickly go back to your home base and restock rather than have to fly all the way across the whole map just to go to your previous house or something like that. So that's my prediction here. I think Starfield is going to be a game that they support for a few years, and it's been a while now since I guess last fall is when that last DLC came out. But so I think it's about time for at least the next announcement of what's next for Starfield. I don't think they want you to forget about Starfield. I think every Xbox showcase for the next few years is going to have Starfield in some way, in the way that like Elder Scrolls Fallout was always making an appearance. I think they want Starfield to be in that camp, and they just got to put some work in to make that happen. And so there you go. There's my Starfield prediction for the day.
I was worried when you started talking about Xbox, because that's where mine's going. I guess there's always a chance, because it's a bigger stage, that they do this at Summer Games Fest and do the classic, like, for more details or for whatever, turn to Xbox. But I think, and Taylor can roll in his grave a little bit here, but I think, and I'm going to not go specific, I'm just going to say they're going to announce a big Xbox game or franchise that's not yet come to PlayStation, that's on its way. Not counting the Gears remake, something new.
I was going to ask, where would they do that? Like, did they do that in the Xbox showcase? They're like, here's this PlayStation thing? Or like, where was that happening? Summer Game Fest, or just like an announcement over the weekend?
I would think if it's something big like a Halo, I think that's Summer Games Fest, because just big eyes and they talk about more. I do think they'll partner it by saying, whether it's just Nintendo Switch 1, Switch 2, to lessen the blow, to make it seem like, because, Phil's online. He knows what happens there. I think it'll be for PlayStation and Switch 2.
Switch 2, yeah.
Yes. So it's just like, that's why.
I think Halo Master Chief Collection, that's what they do. I think that's the head honcho one.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not going to be specific, because it could be anything. It could be that. Could be just more Gears. Could be something else in the Xbox Rolodex that I'm not thinking about. Like, I'd have to think more about that. Honestly, Master Chief or Halo in any sense is kind of the big fish, but we all know that or even what you're talking about, Starfield. Starfield has not yet come to PlayStation,
that's a good point,
right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about they want to keep Starfield flowing. What a perfect way to be like, hey, there's a DLC, and then also you can play DLC full game, whatnot on PlayStation. Maybe like Switch, I'm sure. I don't know if it can handle it or whatnot, what the deal is, but sure, they have Skyrim on there now, right? And they're getting GTA. They do. Yeah, so they'll find
They don't have Fallout 4 though, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. So, but that's my prediction, is a big Xbox exclusive game or franchise that hasn't yet come to PlayStation. With, like I said, the courtesy of Switch can be included in that, but it's really PlayStation, because that's the big one. So Taylor, get ready to see your boy Master Chief rocking the white and blue colors,
The white and blue colors.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Him and Mario in a game, him and Smash Brothers, it's coming.
That'd be, they got to do it at some point. Yeah, that was one of the ones I had on my list for sure. I just feel like the hard part for the prediction part is like, I don't know where they do it. Like, I don't know if they want that in their big Xbox showcase of like Halo is on Switch, maybe because it's like the Switch 2 launch date, like maybe it's like a
Yes.
big exciting thing. I think the PlayStation, maybe they just put the PlayStation logo in the end of the trailer,
Exactly,
but it's like more of a Switch 2 thing.
Like they did with Indie, right? Like even though when they announced Indie, it was not about it coming to PlayStation, but at the end there was a PlayStation logo there, right?
yeah,
So that's
in
all
that
it could
final
be.
shot.
Even if they're like, we're remastering the collection, it's gonna have this, it's like a new something with it going other places. So
Yeah, the other two for me was like I think Hellblade and Avowed, which are just recent Xbox games, are absolutely going to come to PlayStation and Switch if they can work on there.
yeah.
But I don't know if those ones get like a big fanfare at a Summer Game Fest, but I think they're definitely happening as well. Hellblade I think is maybe a bigger one because that was exclusive to PlayStation. The first game was, and then obviously Xbox scooped it up and then made it exclusive on their platform. But I do think that sequel is eventually going to come there, and it'll probably be a pretty big deal there because I think the audience really likes that kind of game on PlayStation side of things. So yeah, I think those two are definitely coming as well at some point. How about we take our last break of the show and then we'll get into our last few predictions here. We'll be right back. We are back. Taylor, what do you got? Give us a nice spicy one, huh? A sizzler.
A sizzler. Okay. There's a sizzler here, but like you may have alluded to ChatGPT in our private chat. I don't want to copy ChatGPT's pick. It's a sizzler one, but I don't want to say it. Save it. My sizzler is a Gears of War 6.
What do you mean? Like we have E-Day coming out, but you think they're going to do 6? Like
I think that they're going to give us something for it. Yeah, because I mean,
wow,
you have
that is a sizzler. That is a crazy take. Yeah,
they need to finish the story. They have to. Well, E-Day is great. I'm very much looking forward to it, and we have the original one coming out, as you already said,
Reloaded
on PlayStation. Yep. So right now I think they're smacking you with Gears of War, and why not just give us a little something for Gear 6? So,
do you think that would have to be Coalition making that 6, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
Who's currently making E-Day? Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That would be absolutely insane if that happened. I feel like to announce that before E-Day comes out would be crazy. But yeah, that is a sizzler for sure. Nice sizzler.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's... I'm not throwing a 0 on there because you never know, right? You never know what they're cooking, and maybe they're confident with that game. Because it could just be the thing, they're confident with that game, they're going to get Gears, the original one on PlayStation and other places, and they just want to steamroll and have like, hey, the next 5 to 6 years, this is the roadmap for Gears. It is a franchise that is big. Obviously, it's lost some luster, but I do actually think like the Reloaded thing could have kind of come back. I was kind of disappointed because that right now... I think they've just confirmed it's only still 2-player for the campaign, right? Because I know the other games, they went to 3 and 4, right? But the first one was just... Yeah, because I was like, you know what? That's actually when I would have dove back into a good cross-play with the 3 or 4 of us. I'd be down because I had some
I'll be there if you want to do like duo with me. Like,
no, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. But,
chopped liver?
Well, yeah, I was wanting the whole... It very much like a striker situation. Like, I wanted the whole squad there because me and my friends... When that game came out, we used to do like Marvel Alliance, just go to a friend's place and just go through that campaign the whole night, take turns for death. Like, great memories there. So I don't think it's impossible, but I'm saying like a 2.5% that happens.
Oh,
2.5. But it would be very much like 10 to 15 second cutscene, title, treatment, and that's it. Nothing, no date, nothing like that. Like very, like what Sky or what Elder Scrolls like the next one got a couple of years back. It would be like that for Gears of War. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's that Gotham Knights had that same situation where it would have been perfect if it was 4-player, but it was just 2-player.
No one else bought the game though, Taylor.
That's true. Yeah.
I played it for a few seconds at your house and couldn't jump and was like, I'm out. If I can't jump in this game, I don't want to play it.
Multiplayer was tons of fun. You join the story at any point. Underrated.
Go check out our review for that. Yeah. All right, my next prediction here. I'm going to the indie-ish sort of realm of things. So one of the names that is on the big 50 people that are involved here is Annapurna, and one of the biggest, or probably the biggest game that Annapurna has published. I forget the name of the developer here, but anyway, they published it, is Stray, and I think we're going to get an announcement of Stray 2, which was a huge indie game, one of the biggest indie games ever in terms of just raw sales. That game 8, it took over everything. It was a big deal, especially for a game of that scale. So I think we're going to get an announcement here that game out in 2022, I believe. So I think it's time for. I don't think it's going to come out this year, but like maybe they throw 2026 on there, and at least get it announced here. My pitch slash prediction here is I think the second game is going to include co-op. I think that'll be the big new feature or mechanic with it. And my idea here is that I think that it will be you playing as the cat or maybe like a new cat and also a stray dog. I think they're going to take the word stray and mix it out, and you'll have a cat and a dog working together, and it'll be this heartwarming story of these two species who have to, help each other to survive, and they each have like slightly different abilities. But I still think the game can be played single player, so maybe like swap between them if you're like playing a Lego game single player, And so I think the stray cat, stray dog dynamic will be a big part of it. So there's my weird prediction for Stray 2, and I think. I'll go with the 2026 release window for it as well. I think it would be part of this prediction here, and I think that would get people pretty jazzed. I think people would be excited for that.
Yeah, the dog one, that's a good pull right there. That's like smart to hit the other realm. But if you don't get it here, it has to be happening like next 12.
Yeah, I think there's no chance that game isn't being made currently just because of how much money it made. So
yes.
Yeah, I think it's happening. Okay, I think that was 3 for all of us. Do you guys have any? I only asked to make 3. Do you guys have any other ones that were in the back burner that you want to chuck out there?
No, you took my res one. So my back burner was the Xbox exclusive one. That's the
Gotcha.
other one. I had other ones, but they're all very just kind of very just obvious ones that like either you would talk about or just like it's out there already. And it's gonna be interesting to see the show because there's been people saying there's been lots of rumblings of it's funny the way it went from it was E3 to a lot of people doing separate showcases, and then that kind of died and went to one big showcase. But then there's like rumblings in the industry that's kind of going back to like lots of these companies like, oh, we just want to do our own one now, and it's just because probably again Keeley, certain spots, money and stuff. So we got the IO. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm interested to see. I think last year and Game Awards they're on an upswing of being good. I can't remember. I have to go back and listen. So
Summer Game Fest was pretty good last year, from what I remember.
Yeah, I'm expecting like a B show. I think maybe they'll have one more big thing, but and Game Awards, I think it was long and had a lot of stuff I didn't need, but I thought that one had big stuff going on. Like they had a lot of big reveals, I thought.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to remember.
Yeah. I always have to go back and listen, but I'm expecting like a B rate show. Okay. So.
I had a couple other quick ones I'll chuck at you guys because especially with Summer Game Fest, but also the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley, he loves to get his big names on stage, whether it is actors or if it's big like known game developers or studio heads, that kind of thing. So I think one thing we're gonna get here is a game called Judas. It's still supposed to come out this year, and I think Ken Levine is one of those big game developer people. He's one of those names in games that not a lot of studios have. And so I think he'd pull Ken Levine up on stage to talk about Judas a little bit, set up the trailer, or maybe you would do the trailer, and then he brings Ken Levine on stage, and they give the official release date. And my prediction there would be like sometime in October because it seems like a creepy game. I think it'd be good for that kind of time. So yeah, that's one. And the other one, this is kind of pretty fresh, but I think this could happen. What do you guys think about an Alex Garland appearance to do a little Elden Ring something? Maybe a cast announcement, announce a character, like an actor who's involved. I think that he'd want to get him on stage for something like this. Just kind of remind people that this was something that was announced, even if they obviously don't have anything to show like this early on.
I agree, but for December, I think they're gonna wait till it's like fully more casted, just in case just in case something falls apart.
It's pretty early on. That's a good point. Yeah.
So I don't think you're wrong. Like it could still happen if they're that confident, but I do see that happening at some point in the near future. I just think maybe Summer Games Fest is the more. And here's the one they do it. Here's my prediction for for Game Awards. He what is it? Presents the best game adaptation thing they do every year at the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah, good one. Yeah,
that's my long-term thinking. But you never know. They could throw him on there. Kojima's there. Hey, you want to be one of my games? It's just to set him up that way. So.
Nice, good one. All right, Taylor, do you got some good ChatGPT generated predictions for us here?
So I got some basic games that I asked it to predict that could appear at Summer Games Fest. And then I asked it to actually detail and predict a few different presentations of some extra games. So they get kind of zany, but so far the safe pick is that we got Call of Duty, another Black Ops, Gulf War is what it says.
Oh, okay.
We got Dragon Age Dreadwolf is what it's saying.
Oh, sure. I guess that's probably gonna make an appearance, right?
It also had Resident Evil 9, but you picked that, so that's good. And then we've got Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Yeah, that's
coming out soon. Or is that
Yeah,
release
I
date
could
even
see it
known?
getting a scissor. I thought it was August something. I think that's what it is, like a 14th or 18th.
Let me see.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I could see that getting a sizzle reel Well,
August 28th.
okay, I was close. I was wondering, is it like Dirty Pool if they do that while Kojima's there? Like, is that something where Keeley might take a stand back? You know what? Hideo's here. I'm not gonna.
I think
show
Keeley
the
will
ex-girlfriend.
take a bag from anyone who's chucking it. So
Okay, I'm actually gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's not there.
okay.
Okay. We got Half-Life 3, which I feel like that's a bold one.
That gets predicted everything now.
That's
Like,
more likely than Gears 6, though. I will say.
Half-Life 3 is the new meme like prediction now because I see that
Yeah.
come up a lot.
Oh, that's
so.
not. That's an old one at this point.
Very old.
People have been saying that for like 15 years.
I guess it's just like back. I feel like when things leak, people always say, "Oh yeah, I've heard it's happening," but yeah,
Yeah.
We got Mass Effect 5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
they are
Crazy.
working on that though, right?
Well, I'd assume that'd be the same studio making Dreadwolf. So I don't know if we'd see anything until that.
Yeah, I
Dreadwolf's
guess not.
out.
But they did announce, and it was like, "We're going back to basics. We know we didn't, we know you didn't like Andromeda, so like, don't worry." But yeah, I don't think so. But always potential for a logo or something.
We got Final Fantasy 9 Remake.
Yeah.
9 remake. Okay, before the
9
7 remake's done, that'd be interesting.
Oh,
Apparently.
yeah. No, I thought you were talking about yeah. I know people have been talking about the 7 remake part 3. I think there's potential to see that.
A Twisted Metal.
Whoa. I'm gonna say I don't think it's happening.
Do you think it meant
Not
the
right now.
game or the show?
It said game to tie into the show.
Did that show get like another? Is it get another season?
Yeah, it's coming
Season
out.
2.
It's coming out like
Right.
next month or so. So
Oh.
I think Mackie. Well, I don't think Mackie would be there though because he's in wherever filming Avengers right now. So I just don't think
Right.
Feige's be like, yeah, go and promote Twisted Metal.
I really got to go do this, Feige.
yeah. So I don't think so, but like I do think at some point PlayStation, even if it's a smaller budget one, has to be cooking up another Twisted Metal, right? Just to see. They're
I
doing
mean,
a show.
remember back to the PS5 launch, they had that game that what the fuck was it even called? It was like a car combat game that came out like a PS5 launch title.
I do not remember this.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but like completely forgotten about. Like didn't move the needle at all. So I don't know if that's like obviously Twisted Metal would sell better than that game presumably, but like I don't know if that's like how unenthused people seem to be for a car combat game. I don't know if Twisted Metal is coming. Let me see if I can find the name of that game. Destruction All Stars. Don't forget the great Destruction All Stars.
Don't forget to read Crush Hour, everybody too. So
Okay, I won't.
What else we got? Monster Hunter 6.
Whoa. After a few months after the last one just came out, and it's probably going to get DLC for a few
That's
years.
bold.
Crazy.
It's bold.
Crazy. Yeah.
Silent Hill 2.
What?
Yeah, that's
Didn't
all
they
it
just get
said.
this? Oh yeah, was the remake for Silent Hill 1 or was that 2 that came out last year?
I thought it was 1.
Oh, okay. Then maybe you get 2 remakes. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. BioShock 4.
No,
Well, yeah,
I don't think so.
maybe. It's already announced, right? So it's like it's been cooking for a few years. Maybe it's time to show it. Who
Has
knows?
it? I think I missed that. So
Higher
Oh,
or
yeah.
lesser likely than Gear 6?
Way higher for sure because it's already announced.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When was it announced? Trying to find out.
Then we got
back in 2019, so it's been a
Oh,
minute.
that's a
So if
while.
that game's been cooking, then like it's ready to go.
Bloodborne remake for PC, PS5. That was interesting. Here's a few that I like. This sounds cool. A Legend of Zelda new 2D game or an Oracle remake on Switch 2.
I could see Oracle remake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Last of Us Part 3. It specifies just a logo tease, nothing else.
Not yet.
0% chance.
I'm not gonna say
Really?
0. I'm gonna
Not even
say-
just a logo.
I'm gonna say 3% because it lasts us 3. Go with that. It's definitely happening, just not this year. I think they're gonna focus on the Heretic, and then I think you're gonna. Well, I guess we'll see. At one point, we were living in a world where that show was a big hit, and now that show has had a big decline. So, I always thought, well, for sure they're gonna get that game out because they're gonna want more seasons of that show. I'm not as confident as I was now, but there's been tons of rumors that they've been working on that thing. So I think 2 more years.
I just feel like I think it was last year where they're at Summer Game Fest, they had the big blowout, like a ton of content for like Last of Us Factions, and then that just got like canceled. And so I feel like Jeff's gonna be like, hold your horses here. Like, let's just wait for something like a little more tangible instead of just like fake Last of Us hype. But I don't know, that would get clicks, so maybe they would do it.
We got Alan Wake 2 and expansion tease.
Fake Last of Us hype. I like that. Alan Wake 2, wouldn't they have put everything out for that game, Dylan? Don't you think?
I doubt they would do another DLC for that game. They already
Yeah.
had the 2 DLC packs, so I think it's done. I
Okay.
think they're working on Control 2 at this point would be their main title. So
Dead Space 2 remake.
I forget how well that Dead Space remake did.
I thought it didn't do well, so I'm going to say no. I could be wrong, but I thought that was the narrative of people being like, oh, this, I think people were happy with the remake, but I don't think the numbers were there. So
Yeah, I don't think it's happening right now.
yeah.
Okay. And then the bold pick I was alluding to earlier, Fable reveal and Shadow Drop.
Shadow Drop 0%
Shout out
chance.
no. I would
Reveal
love it.
reveal quite likely because they announced 2026 for that game recently. So I think you get it here at the Xbox Showcase for sure, and then once again in that January Developer Direct, you get another big showcase for Fable. So I think we'll see Fable this weekend. But yes, Shadow Drop, no way.
Okay. All right, so that's it for the predictions. And now I got the announcements.
Okay.
And I'm going to try not to laugh because when I was reading, I only read a fraction of some of this, and it just cracked me up. So I'm going to try and keep a straight face. So lights dim, screen fades to black. Now this is explaining. It's explaining
Shadowy
this.
room.
Everyone is in the audience as it's detailing this, so it's detailing it like it's a presentation on stage.
Okay.
The booming voice of Wes Johnson, the beloved voice of Sheo Gorath and the Imperial Guards echoes across the stadium. Stop right there, criminal scum! You didn't think you'd come here and not see it, did you? Suddenly, a deafening orchestral swell erupts. A 200-piece orchestra rises from beneath the stage.
Just going all out.
Performing a live medley of Elder Scrolls themes, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, with a massive Nordic choir chanting in dragon tongue. The smoke machines erupt. A blizzard of artificial snow begins to fall from the ceiling. A life-sized animatronic dragon, fully mobile, breathing actual fire, descends from above, suspended by a hidden crane. Its wings open, and riding on its back is Jeff Keighley in full Dovahkiin armor.
If he were to do that, a conference. I don't care what they show. A conference.
It's funny. Like I feel like there's no way Xbox would spend that much money on this announcement to not
Right.
like to put it at Summer Game Fest and not at their own showcase. That's
Not
like
a
the
Phil on
craziest
that
part of this
dragon
for
or
me.
Todd on that dragon.
And yeah, why would you get Jeff? That you obviously put Todd Howard on that dragon.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say quickly, because we didn't bring it up, Dylan, what's your percentage on anything Elder Scrolls?
Um,
It's been cooking. Starfield's gone with. I know they might update doing some stuff. Do you think
I'll go 25% chance. So not like a super small amount, but like less likely than likely.
Yeah. I feel like next year's the year. I don't think it's this year, but I feel like next year, I don't know why, I got a good vibe that next year's the...
Right. I don't think
the
they have
real
gameplay
start.
to show right now. So that's why I think next year I think they don't want to just show off another nothing burger for that. They want some gameplay. Anyway, Jeff Keighley's on a dragon.
yeah, he's in full Dovahkiin armor. He jumps off the dragon and lands with a perfect 3-point superhero pose. And he shouts "Fusro da" into a $200,000 wireless mic. The dragon unleashes one last gout of flame, setting off pyro explosions across the venue. A massive stone wall behind Jeff collapses, revealing a glowing runed portal as if summoned by a mage. Then the screen fills with stars and a voice whispers, "When the towers fall and the song of the dove shall rise again, a new age begins." And then it cuts to wide shots of towering snow-covered peaks, an expansive coastline, a war-ravaged battlefield with Dwemer tech scattered about, a city in the distance that looks like Hammerfell, or is it High Rock? And then the title appears, Elder Scrolls 6, exclusive to Xbox and PC 2026.
Well, it's wrong right there. You know?
Yeah.
It's not going to be exclusive. So
2026? Oh, wow, that would be crazy.
But Keeley isn't done. He steps forward and says, "This is not just a game, it's the most ambitious RPG ever created. And next week at Xbox Showcase, you'll see the first 10 minutes of
Next
gameplay.
week.
Open world? No. Open fantasy."
I
I don't like that.
good.
I don't like that sentence.
I-
Open
I-
fantasy?
That's fair. I don't mind that, but you know.
The dragon flies away, dragging a massive Xbox logo banner across the arena sky.
I mean, if that did happen, that would be maybe the greatest game announcement of all time. That'd be crazy.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right.
That'd be crazy.
Next one. So where's it start here? So the first iconic piano note of Gusty Garden Galaxy plays. The orchestra kicks in, and dozens of drones begin to fly around the arena, forming a massive 3D Mario face in the air. Then a warp pipe emerges from the center of the stage, emitting fog, confetti, and multicolored light
This
beams.
is a
Chris
huge
Pratt's
show.
coming, baby.
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley appears upside down, descending from the ceiling in a real 20-foot tall Mario Kart. He's dressed like a ringmaster of the Mushroom Kingdom, with glowing white gloves and a golden fire flower on his lapel. He lands beside.
I just love the idea he keeps like changing outfits like every 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
He
No,
lands
no,
beside.
no devs, no creators, just him pumping.
Just
this stuff,
him.
you know?
He lands beside the warp pipe, throws a life-size golden coin into the crowd, and said, "Let's go to a whole new dimension."
There's something about the Sky or the Elder Scrolls one being hyped to this one being like he'd be roasted on the internet the whole night.
Yeah.
Like, let's go to a new dimension.
So the stage starts to transform. This giant LED panels spin to reveal a living Mushroom Kingdom, fully animated and interactive. Dozens of Nintendo dancers dressed as Goombas, Yoshis, and Toads perform synchronized parkour stunts across moving
Holy
platforms.
hell.
We are back to E3 now. That's
A 12-foot Bowser animatronic emerges from behind the audience, breathing steam and waving at fans.
So why is the dragon allowed to breathe fire, but Bowser can only breathe steam?
yeah.
Fucking poor guy.
I hope they fight coming up.
Suddenly, the sky cracks open in the arena, and drones simulate a rift in the Mushroom Kingdom sky, showing parallel universes of Mario games colliding. You see Mario 64 running from chain chomps, Mario Galaxy flying through space with Rosalina, Mario Odyssey riding a T-Rex through Peach's castle, and finally, a brand new Mario with a fresh art style, and he's running on walls, across portals, and even flying on a Luma-powered hoverboard. The title drops.
Multiverse game.
Super Mario Dimensional Dash. It is a brand new 3D platformer starring Mario, Luigi, and Peach, and even Bowser through fractured universes.
Oh, I like
So you
that.
have it's fully co-op.
Bowser.
Every level has alternative versions and alternate timelines. You can Cappy possess your past self, and Cappy, that's from Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a weird one, but
Launch
I love
title
that
for
idea of making a one level, but 4 different art styles and changes based
A
off
merged
the
world, yeah.
That's actually really
Convergence.
cool.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
launch
it's like
title
some
for
Spider
Nintendo
Verse
Switch
stuff
2.
almost. So.
It is. Keeley hits a giant question mark block on stage, and out pops
It dies.
Shigeru Miyamoto. He waves, says Yahoo, and then launches a signed Switch 2 prototype into the crowd like a t-shirt cannon.
Oh my god.
Hundreds of people are dying in this show.
Yeah, this is very violent predictions.
Yes, a real-life Nintendo-branded airship blimp arrives over the venue, dropping gold coins,
How big is
plushies,
this
and Mario
venue?
hats. And then the screen reads, "The next chapter begins. Switch 2 Direct, June 15th."
Okay.
Okay.
That's insane.
So we got just a couple more. So presented by Keeley, no targets are safe. The scene opens, silence.
Yeah, we know the animatronics.
Full blackout, no music, no voiceover, just the subtle sound of a ticking watch. Then a red laser sight scans across the crowd. A spotlight hits a random audience member in a suit. He looks confused, nervous, and a red dot appears on his forehead. A shot is heard.
I hope that's an actor and not a random person.
You can't do, you
That's
can't
illegal.
do this. You can't do this in 2025.
Not in the USA.
Even if that's an actor, they cannot do that stunt. That is too far.
Imagine sitting next to the guy. Like, what the
Tell my family I love them.
So a red dot appears on his forehead, a shot is heard, and he slumps over dead silent. The crowd gasps and security runs in. Panic starts to ripple. Suddenly, the orchestra kicks in, but it's... It's disguised as a string quartet playing Ave Maria live. A massive screen lights up with CCTV footage of the murder from multiple angles. One frame shows a bald figure in the rafters, barcode visible on the back of his head.
Oh my God.
The camera zooms on his face. It's Jeff Keighley dressed as Agent 47.
He shaved his head now for the bit. Oh my God.
And he shot somebody too. Like he murdered an audience member. Wow.
What a great way to market your own events. I will literally kill you in my auditorium.
Keighley rappels from the ceiling upside down wearing a tailored ICA suit and red tie. He lands center stage next to the corpse. The dead man suddenly sits up, pulls off a blood pack, and smiles. Keighley says, "Ladies and gentlemen,"
So it was an actor. Nice.
It was an actor. "Consider this a contract fulfilled, but we've just begun." The floor. Oh my God.
This show of Keighley just fucking doing his just full Broadway one-man show.
Yeah, imagine if this was all one show too. That's like insane.
The floor opens up to reveal a full replica of a Paris runway level, complete with flashing cameras and actors
Whoa.
and characters, bodyguards, fashion models, and double agents.
Holy
Fog rolls
shit.
in. Drones above the stage display the ICA logo in blood red, and laser tripwires crisscross the stage as Keighley navigates them perfectly as if trained. A quiet piano piece overlays footage of Agent 47 infiltrating a luxury space hotel, assassinating a CEO on a zero-gravity platform, sneaking through a black tie gala in Dubai underwater, and using new disguise AI to mimic anyone's voice and appearance mid-mission. Screen fades to black, and the title says Hitman Agent 47 Ascension. Assassinate across space, politics, and legacy. No targets are safe. Coming
Space.
2026.
I don't know Hitman game in space, I'll tell you that. That's too far.
Oh, but wait. It's not over. A man in the audience stands up mid-applause. A red dot appears on his forehead. He panics. Everyone turns. He sprints to the stage and yells, "I'm not part of this promo. Help me." A gunshot echoes. A single bullet casing drops from the rafters, landing beside Keighley.
Keighley's just having a great time while the audience is horrified.
The press is flooded with debates. Was that real? Did Keighley go too far? Players who pre-order the game get a custom assassination briefing written by the devs. IO Interactive reveals a real-world ARG where fans must find hidden ICA caches in major cities around the world.
Oh my God.
There you go, but we don't know if this guy really died.
Yeah, we don't know. They don't do the blood pack. Oh, I could just see the headlines next morning. Did Keighley go too far?
I'm not a part of this promo. Help me.
Yeah, what a weird line to say too. I'm not a part of this promo. I don't think anyone would say promo in that situation. Taylor, did you ask this to like really go hard on the Jeff Keighley-isms of this, or did this just go there on its own?
So what did I ask it? Let me go back up and see what my initial pitch
It's
was.
just so much. It's so much Jeff Keighley that I'm like, it's shocking to me.
So I said, as the show reveals new games, do very passionate, wild presentations that you would see announced at new games at Summer Games Fest, and you can detail Keighley entering the stage, revealing these titles as well. And so it's going that extra mile.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, that was like a minor prompt for the Keighley stuff, but it's going all in on that.
So I have two more here. So this one, next gen open universe game developed by Insomniac, Crystal Dynamics, and Kojima Productions.
Whoa.
The
Crazy
multiverse is
crossover.
bleeding, and you are the scalpel. The lights go to black.
Wait, what?
The room hums with a deep subwoofer level rumble, and then silence. Suddenly, a single beam of light shoots into the sky above the arena, and a portal opens.
Part of this promo.
It's like Doctor Strange just ripped the multiverse open in real time. Out of the rift, live actors of Spider-Man, Wolverine, Scarlet Witch, Moon Knight, and Daredevil come tumbling through, doing stunts, flips, fighting each other on a rotating stage platform. Moon Knight uses a zip line across the crowd. Scarlet Witch suspends a real prop car, midair using wire rigs. And Spider-Man wall crawls up the LED screen in real time. And then the lights flicker. Something's wrong. Multiverse breach detected. Suddenly, Kang the Conqueror appears via hologram.
Oh no! No!
Voiced
It's
by
me,
Jonathan
Jonathan.
Majors. That's what it says.
Oh no! Keely, you were doing so good. What's wrong?
Did Keely go too far? Summer Games Fest 2025.
He monologues, "Your heroes mean nothing across time. Their legacy ends tonight." From above, a life-size Iron Man suit drops from the ceiling, and it lands with a impact boom. It opens slowly with dry ice pouring out, and inside, Keely, wearing a glowing chest piece, arc reactor style, a long Marvel-branded trench coat. He walks out through a series of Doctor Strange-style golden portals, each one changing the environment briefly to New York City in ruins, a Skrull-infested jungle, a 2099 neon-lit cityscape, and frozen Asgard. Each time he walks through, he's briefly in costume as a different Marvel hero. Finally, he walks center stage, looks dead into the camera, and says, "You've been asking for it, you've been building to it, and now it's time to play in a world where anything and anyone is possible." He raises his hand, and a giant Mjolnir made of plasma drones forms above the stage. And then the screen explodes into trailer footage. A broken multiverse. Captain America is 100 years older, Spider-Gwen leads a resistance, Blade hunts across timelines, and you play as your own custom Marvel hero or recruit from every era, including 2099...
Back.
You had me till the
X.
custom character.
We
Age
thought
of
Midnight Suns,
Apocalypse.
remember? And then we loved Hunter. Maybe we could get that again, you know?
MCU, Secret Wars 84, and even the Lego Marvel Dimension. Revealed title, Marvel
cool.
Legacy War. It's a single player plus live world experience where time collapses and heroes clash across dimensions, coming 2026. An actor dressed as Deadpool runs on stage and steals Keely's mic and says, "Pre-order now and you get me in 5 different timelines. One of them I'm actually nice. Gross, I know." Fireworks go off, and then a Stark Industries branded drone sworn spells Legacy War in the air above Los Angeles.
So you go through all this effort, and then you have Deadpool come out and do like a 3 out of 10 level joke.
Yeah.
To close it.
That's right.
Universe, yeah.
But you got majors.
I would just love
you got majors.
that multiverse where Kevin Feige wakes up the next day and like, yeah, they ousted Majors to be Kang there, but they're like, oh no, the video game team they brought him all along. And it's like,
Brought him in.
oh, he's still attached to the brand, man.
Is Legacy War the name of a comic book run, or is that fiction?
I think that's fiction. I think. Yeah.
All right. Last one.
Sounds good.
So we got scene open, still darkness. A twin sun slowly rises on the screen. Suddenly, all hands brace for impact. The entire stage shakes with coordinated subwoofer rumbles. The screen explodes into a massive hyperspace tunnel as a life-size X-Wing crashes through a fake LED wall and screeches to a halt mid-stage. It's real, it's smoking, it's insane. The cockpit opens and out steps Keely, fully clad in a rebel pilot suit.
So many outfits.
But I love the show would just be 5 games because they spent so much money on the stage.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With glowing LED lights, a blinking wrist-mounted holomap, and a BB unit following him via animatronics. As he walks down the ramp, the screen behind him zooms across the galaxy. Mustafar, Coruscant, Jeddah, Exegol, and Camino. Planets old and new, colliding, warping. Keely says there's been a disturbance in the Force, one that only you can play through. A robed figure appears in the crowd, then another. Dozens of lightsabers ignite in the aisles. Jedi and Sith actors duel live on stage, flipping, twirling, even using wire harnesses to float midair like Force users. A full-sized hollow Yoda appears in the middle of the venue, spinning in 360 with a voiceover. "The future clouded it is. Choose your destiny you must." Then the screen goes black as the new trailer plays. A gritty tone, the force is in fragments. You see a former Jedi Knight hiding in the unknown regions, training a new rogue Padawan. Sith cults are rising from the ashes of Exegol. A Mandalorian warlord manipulating both sides. A massive space battle across shifting asteroid fields. Playable characters from multiple factions, from Jedi and Sith to bounty hunters and droids. Open world, multi-planet exploration, branching paths, full lightsaber crafting, and customizable force powers. Player decisions determine the fate of the entire star system.
Open world, more like open fantasy. Am I right?
Sounds like the game I've been waiting for my whole life.
Star Wars Eclipse Shadows. Power doesn't bring peace, it brings choices. Coming holiday.
So they use the same
2026.
Eclipse title,
That game's dead. That's why.
add shadows to it. Okay.
That's why.
Game's dead.
Suddenly, the roof splits open. The retractable arena tech and a Starkiller base scale Star Destroyer drone swarm hovers above the crowd. It projects 3D holograms of Vader, Rey, Mando, and Grogu, and even a new villain, Darth Valeris, with a twin-bladed, unstable crimson saber. Real pyrotechnics simulate TIE fighters crashing through space above the venue. Then John Williams' Binary Sunset theme kicks in, performed live by the LA Philharmonic hiding under the stage the entire
They're
time.
always hiding under that stage, man.
Keeley removes his helmet and says, "You've waited for your next Star Wars adventure. It's here, and your story starts now." There you go.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. And Disney drops a companion animated short on Disney Plus that night.
Whoa.
Pre-orders include custom lightsaber hilts.
They're really confident in this game. They
Insane
gotta-
marketing budget for Star Wars. What was it called? Galaxy Shadow.
Shadows.
Eclipse Shadow. Yeah.
Huge get for Keeley too that they're not revealing this at like Star Wars Celebration, nothing like everything.
Yeah.
At Summer Games Fest. Wow.
It's the closer at Summer Game Fest of a crazy
what-
run.
What a show we're getting on Friday, gents. I can't wait.
That'd be insane. Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh if Keeley pops out wearing anything. I know he's not gonna. It's just gonna be the suit, but I'm gonna think back. So.
Let's hope he doesn't murder anyone, or no one dies at the show.
the promo.
Yeah, I thought when you said the Siths were out in the audience that we were going to get some red dots on their foreheads as well.
Go Anakin sand people on them.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Wow. Absolutely insane. Thank you for getting that for us, Taylor. That's that is beyond what our brains could possibly conceive. Only a robot could come up with something so insane. Boys, thank you for joining me. I think it'll be, as we've mentioned, a very fun, exciting weekend. Maybe not quite on that level of crazy Jeff Keighley-isms, but if we get even 1% of that, we're in for a good weekend. But yeah, we'll be back Friday night / Saturday morning, and then back again on Sidequest Tuesday to cover all this good stuff. So subscribe. Thank you for listening, and we will see you again next time. Bye.